Get started with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Monday, February 3rd work session for the Shawnee County Board of County Commissioners. I'm Aaron Mays. I am the chair this year, and I represent District 3. On my left is Commissioner Bill Rippon, representing District 1. On my right is Commissioner Kevin Cook, representing District 2. Also at the desk is Rich Eckert, our county councilor. Good morning to all of you.
Morning. Morning.
Okay, we have one item on our agenda today, and it's a very fun item, so let's go ahead and give a warm Shawnee County welcome to Mike Bell.
Good morning, Commission. Mike Bell, the Topeka Area Sports Commission. And I didn't know I was going to have such a prominent place in the agenda today, so thank you very much. I do appreciate it. For those of you that don't know, the Topeka Area Sports Commission was started in 2022, so we formed after a destination development exercise, and we figured out youth sports was something that we really needed to hone in on and work together for Topeka and the Topeka area to be one of those that was great in our region. So from there, 23 was a great year. When we announced in 2022, we had the JUCO, the National Junior College Indoor Track and Field Nationals coming up. So 23, we did go and have a great event there. And so then we moved on. And I'll say we went to 2024 and figured we needed some direction. And so I have a board of approximately 21 persons. Those are from a variety of walks of life, not only venue holders like Shawnee County, we have Tim Lawrence on there, Aaron serves, but also those groups that we need to have come in and help us, like USA Wrestling and some folks from there. So we figured out we needed a strategy. So what we really wanted to go about with this strategy and look at the community, look at our sales efforts and things of that nature. So we did come up with a strategy and advocacy plan, and those really were some big highlights that we had. Those focus on a couple different pieces, so it's community engagement, volunteerism, sports facilities infrastructure, and then hosting those sports. So we did have some really good success in 2024. We had what's called an economic impact, and in my world, what I do is I have direct spending economic impact. I don't have the multipliers throughout the community. I have direct from a wallet or a purse to that register. So we had a total economic impact of about $27 million in sports. So that was extremely beneficial. It's about 17,000 room nights in our community. And it wasn't all great. We did have some events that we did lose, but those 65 events that we had were very valuable. We did lose about 15 of those events, representing about $11 million. So those are folks that just decided not to come to our community for a variety of reasons, but those reasons could be infrastructure, it could be amenities, it could just be that we didn't have the proper dollars to come in to our community. But overall, we did manage about 81 leads that I mentioned the $27 million in economic impact. So that's extremely beneficial. Now, this advocacy and strategy plan, when we talked about that, we wanted to make sure we had a baseline. And as you may recall, we did a survey to Shawnee County residents and around the area. And that survey we titled Road Warriors, because we know that almost everybody with kids, unfortunately, has to leave our community to go participate outside of Shawnee County and the Topeka area. So we did find out that, we surveyed about 1,200 people, and about 70% of those folks are leaving our community. And many of them are traveling almost more than 11 times a year. So, once a month, they're leaving our community and spending dollars elsewhere. And it was a variety of elsewhere. There was a lot within those, let's just call it one-day trips. So, they're going down to Kansas City, or they're going to go up to, or maybe Wichita or something. So there's folks that travel there, but there's many that were traveling outside of our state and outside of our region for these events. And we figured out that based on the economics of the answers, that those folks were spending about $161 a day. That's the family is spending about $161 a day that they're going, and they're buying food, they're buying gas, they're buying all of those things in a different community. And then that really bumps up if they stay overnight, because they're going to spend another couple $100 on hotel rooms. And so really, when we took it out and we kind of extrapolated the information, that's about $7 million of our funds in Shawnee County that are leaving Topeka. And moreover, it's not just the dollars. We have folks that when they leave our community, they can't volunteer in an event. They can't attend another event. And so the kind of cycle is bad, because we found that most of our folks that are putting on events in our community can't find volunteers. So that's one of the things that is extremely important. We did find out that those really popular sports for travel were soccer, baseball, basketball, softball, and football. So those are some, primary sports that we've had for quite some time. Those bat and ball sports are ones that we work on, and we knew that soccer was going to be high up there with $500 million invested and growing in the Kansas City area. So really, what we wanted to do with this was get a baseline, look at it, and then start to plan for the future. How can we stop that economic outflow? How can we get our human capital back in our community on the weekends and when we need them, and moving forward? So that's one of the impetus for really bringing out this strategic plan. So the first part of our plan that we're going to look towards in 2025 is recruitment and community storytelling. We have, I had a great experience, as you guys are well aware of. We have the USA Wrestling bid coming up, and so we wanted to do a little bit of storytelling about our community and about the Stormont Vale Event Center. And we were really had a great example of a young lady wrestler from Washburn Rural, and she just knocked it out of the park. And her story about just wrestling and how she has found wrestling to just be a great event for a young female coming up is exciting. So we want to make sure we're telling that. And I recently found out about a young man out of the Topeka quarter midget track that is racing for NASCAR quarter midgets. And later this year at the Topeka quarter midget track, we're actually going to have a NASCAR quarter midget race. And I said, boy, that'd be great. I talked to this kid's dad, and I said, boy, I'd love to maybe get him to chat about community storytelling. And he says, well, we'll have to go through his PR agent, and we'll have to go through his regular agent, because he is in the NASCAR circuit. And that's the kind of caliber that we have in Topeka that are leaving our community, but we actually do have that race. So that's one of the things that we want to look at, is this community storytelling. The other part is highlighting our venues. Shawnee County has some amazing venues. So we've got, not only Crossover and some of the things that are happening at Crossover, but Bedison and Vista. I was just talking 2 days ago about how everything's turf now, and we can really highlight what we've got going on at Bedison and Vista, and look at how can we use those for tournaments, not only a boys and girls side, so to speak, but how can we utilize those tournaments spaces to put on really large scale tournaments using the full lake. I would be remiss if I didn't talk about, we want to get Humber Sports Park out there, another amazing asset that we can utilize, and we want to look at the Topeka Swim Association's, the natatorium there, how can we move forward with that, and some of the other pieces. And of course, one of our big community assets that I think that was really important, we did just a week ago today, was Task Cares. This was a brainchild of Jake Ferrant, our first chair. He recognized with his community and his company that sometimes kids just need a basketball to play basketball. Sometimes they just don't have the equipment that's necessary. We actually, a week ago, these were the Q4 distributions for 2024, and we gave away $2,900. May not seem like a lot, that $2,900, but it was a wrestling mat a gymnastics mat for some folks that want to participate in cheer and dance competitions. It was allowing some people to be able to pay their way to get onto volleyball teams so they could help and not be excluded when the team travels and not be and lose their friends. And then of course we did donate to Soul Reason, because we figure that if we can buy 50 pairs of basketball shoes or athletic shoes for kids, that gets them in the run. So that $2,900 I think went a long ways. The next part we've been working on is our data and digital strategy. We've got a website, topekasports.org. Not too many people know about it, and we are going to be promoting it here very soon. We've been building that, grabbing digital assets and pushing that. But outside of our topekasports.org, we have other social media pages that we try to release information and try to keep people up to date. So I do encourage you, if you haven't liked and followed, please go ahead and do that. And then one of our big pieces, today we're going to come out with an aquatics blog. On our B2B source, LinkedIn, we try to push out a lot of our facilities that way. So, and then next part would be our sports facilities and infrastructure. How do we've got some great facilities, but if we look at not only Topeka, the state, and the region, we're a little bit behind. We're behind in an arms race that is just tremendous. So we do have Project Moonshot, which some of you are aware of, and it is still moving along. Looking at a state-of-the-art facility that we can use to attract folks here. And then we want to do a community facilities basically inventory and look and see where we're at. So taking costs over Heartland BMX, the trails that we have here in the Topeka area, the quarter midget track, and of course the Stormont Vale Event Center, taking a look at those and saying, where can we be competitive? I think that with costs over, some of the expansion that we're going to get there, the new racket and paddle group that's running that is tremendous, and we're already seeing some of that benefit there. But I think with some expansion to the facility, we could see even more. And then Heartland BMX, we were lucky enough to have Sydney come and talk to us and tell us about, heck, they even had an Olympian, a bicycling Olympian that just comes by. He lives in Colorado, so he comes by, rides the track, and gives kids these little classes, I guess you would say, that Heartland BMX, people just don't know about that and know it's coming. Now, that doesn't mean that that's a great facility. Could use some upgrade to host national events. But I think that looking at some of these sports that are outside those typical ball and bat, baseball, softball, soccer, football, looking outside of those is going to be an option for us, and where we can kind of plant the flag. So then, we really got to look at a long term. I know you guys here on this on the commission have to look long term in a lot of ways, and that's where we need to start looking down the way. Working with Shawnee County Parks and Rec, and especially the athletics department, looking at the master plan, seeing how we can dovetail some of the things that we want to do or that we feel are important into that master plan. And overall, it's all about hosting those events, bringing people to our community. When they come into a visitor, they're visiting, we're the first date for the community. So we want to bring those folks in. We want them to see that we have these fantastic facilities. We want them to see that we have fantastic people that support sports in our community. And we're going to do that with a variety of ways. We think that the collegiate route is probably one of the better routes to go, getting younger folks into the community and then younger families in the community to, again, showcase. Now, again, they may not move from California if they're going to come during their collegiate championship, but at least they're here. So we're targeting not only like the NAIA, which we're having a cheer and dance national championship here in, oh gosh, just a little over a year at the Stormont Vale Event Center. But we're also targeting, again, National Junior College with some of their track and field championships. And we did go ahead and bid on some NCAA events as well. So we're looking to run the gamut of those. And really one of the big things that we just unfortunately did not obtain, working with MIAA, we really put a bid in on the basketball championship. We saw an opportunity that bringing a basketball championship from Kansas City, Missouri, to Topeka, Kansas for the MIAA would be amazing. We've got Washburn, great basketball team going on right now, and it would have been awesome to showcase. Unfortunately, they did decide to stay in Kansas City for this round to 2020 to 2030, but we're in the game. We're there talking about it. So we're going to be working on those. So really, what is it beyond for 25? Again, really attacking those big opportunities, not only in the traditional sports, but other ones that are kind of not really necessarily on the radar. One of the funny ones that we have coming again to the Abetta Sports Complex is quad ball. Some of you may have remembered from Harry Potter Quidditch. Well, that's what this is. It's people really the collegiate. It's in collegiate level. It's club level collegiate, and it's a bunch of folks that are playing quad ball. They were out at our facility last year. It was one of those that Topeka, Kansas. I don't know, but we had a team from Texas come up, play a team from Kansas City that was going on to a national championship. They and our Kansas City team made it. They loved it. They raved about it, and now they've asked us to host 2 events for 25 and then into 26. So again, huge pieces of really not huge pieces of business, but at least we're making strides in the Topeka area. So with that, that's kind of what we've been up to since 23 into 24, and what we're looking for 25. And with that, I would stand for any questions if you have any.
Questions?
What is quad ball? What are they?
Sure. It's a mashup. Oh my gosh, it's a mashup of interesting sports. So the big thing is there are 3 hoops at each end. And the main piece is you have to put a ball through one of those hoops. That's the main part. I will say that you ride with a quote-unquote broomstick. You ride a broomstick. So you're running around like this. You can be tackled. So it's like a little bit like tackle football, a little bit like rugby, because you're carrying a ball and they want to tackle you. And then sometimes they have, in Harry Potter, there was something called the golden snitch that people chase. And believe it or not, they have some guy that dresses in yellow with flags, like flag football, and runs around you to try to grab this person. So it's extremely athletic, extremely difficult to follow your first time. We had we reached out to Shawnee, I think it was Shawnee Heights Fire Department, to come out and be there for medical. And so they showed up, and they were kind of just there. Shawnee Heights Fire Department. They watched, and we said, okay, we're finished. You can go ahead and leave. And they stayed and watched the whole game because they thought it was so interesting. So I'd definitely encourage you to come out and watch at least 10 minutes of it because it's fun. And we played at the multi-purpose field, so it's extremely picturesque. I mean, that's one of the things that they really liked, was that it was absolutely beautiful because it's at the lake. So.
Questions?
Mike, talk to me about the master plan. What is some of the aspects of the master plan?
How we want to master. We have not master planned yet. We have just developed a strategic plan for the next couple of years. So our big plans again are looking at our facilities. One of the pieces that we wanted to do, and that you 3 were gracious enough to do, was provide sport court for the Stormont Vale Event Center to increase basketball. We know that people are leaving for basketball, so we wanted to bring some folks here. So part of the master plan is upgrading infrastructure and facilities to make sure that we have surfaces that folks can come and play on. And so not only quality of life, we want to use it within the community, but those folks coming in. So I don't have a plan to show you. We need to develop that, and we want to develop that and dovetail with what Shawnee County Athletics has on their radar.
I'm a little bit and this has always been just a perplexing, we're trying to capture some of the people that are leaving for travel activities to keep them here in Shawnee County. But if they are staying in Shawnee County, they're not going to be spending like they would be elsewhere. They're not going to be having hotel rooms. You may or may not go out to a restaurant. You may just go home or have people over at your house. So your spend is going to be different. So wouldn't the economic impact of keeping people in Shawnee County be less than attracting more people to come here?
You are correct, the economic spend would not be as much if you were home. That's absolutely true. But you are going to spend more money in your community. So you may not spend those dollars to, oh gosh, I'm going to spend $500 to go to Omaha this weekend. Well, now I don't have that in my budget to go to Omaha. I can spend it in my community. So maybe they stay in their community and they are, maybe if it's a married couple with kids, maybe they're going to go out on a date in the community and spend money at a restaurant here locally. Yeah, they're not going to generate those room nights, but again, maybe they have that time. And are we going to move all those dollars? Heck no, there's no way. But if we can move just a fraction of it, we can keep people in our community to, again, run events. I look at every one of these, the swimming folks, the pickleball folk, everybody you talk to says, I need people. I can't do it. And that is where I think if we really hone in on having volunteers in our community to run great events, then bringing people in will follow. So if we have great events going on in our community, those tournaments are going to come to Topeka. So you are correct. It is not necessarily something that we're looking for economic viability from bringing these folks back. They're going to be here in Topeka. They're going to be here in Shawnee County. They're going to be spending money, and they'll have a little bit more in their pockets to go around in our local economy.
Now, the Sports Commission lobbied very hard for the sport court last year for the Shawnee County Commission, and that was a big commitment financially for the sport court. What are you doing to lobby for retail, for hotels, for amenities to get people to attracted to Shawnee County? Where's the Sports Commission lobbying the private sector?
So we work with the private sector. One of the probably what we're doing the most with that is looking how we can get them involved in tournaments and get them involved in play. With the sport court, for instance, we're working very diligently right now with some local, one of them's from a school district, another runs, or the other two run academies. So Darting Academy, Tania Gibbs and her academy that she runs, and then Coach Williams out from Highland Park. And what we're doing is looking at that. We're looking to get into those communities and say, how can we utilize what we have now? So we're looking to put on an event in June is a tentative date to run academies to help and help support and pay for these sport court. And then we want to run events, a basketball tournament on the weekend, and then maybe on the next week a pickleball event. So reaching out to those folks and bringing those folks in, and with that it's going to come sponsorship. So we would hope that we would be able to get some folks that would be able to sponsor, maybe even, I've talked to Kellen a little bit about maybe even there's an opportunity to sponsor those courts and again help pay down some of that debt. So we understand that we did lobby hard, we were able to obtain these courts, and that we have a little bit of a responsibility to help book those and pay down that debt. So that's what we're doing. And then helping Kellen try to find maybe some sponsors for the court and put them down.
Okay. And the MIAA has committed to stay in Kansas City through 2030?
We have, we've got the word from them that they are going to stay. That official word, it hasn't come out from MIAA as of yet, but we have got the word that they are going to stay in a verbal sense.
All right, Commissioner Rickland.
Of course, we built a pretty nice pickleball facility here a year or so ago. Is there any plans for tournaments at that facility, the one on Urish, 21st and Urish?
We're going to be lobbying. We just got some information about USA Pickleball actually, and we're going to be looking at that. Here's the great thing about that facility. We built the facility, and it is great for it's great for local play. It can be really great for local tournaments and really regional tournaments and small nationals. The real benefit is we still got other pickleball courts here. So we can not only put out a great face forward in what we have out at Family Park, but we can also have some great play-in tournament that we can do still at Hughes. So we are looking for USA Pickleball And so that with that national governing body, and then really just supporting the pickleball folks in general. You don't have to have necessarily a USA pickleball event to put on. Right now, 400 or 500 people, you just put a tournament on and 400 or 500 people are showing up for a pickleball tournament. So that's what we're looking to do.
Commissioners, I drove down Erie yesterday about 2 o'clock, and the golf cart, or the golf parking lot was full, and there was such a massive humanity at the pickleball courts, I couldn't see the nets from the road.
Yeah.
It felt like they were playing 10 on 10.
That's what happens when
Yeah.
you're 65 degrees in February. But
Yeah, it was great. And again, those are happening not only at that facility, but still at Hughes. So it's wonderful.
I went to a hockey game here. In fact, I went to 2 of them in the last couple of weekends. Were you guys involved in any of that, arranging these exhibition games for?
So I operate so that is considered not necessarily sports tourism. So sports tourism is anything at an amateur level and youth amateur level, and then some of those collegiate post activities. So really on the professional level, we'll just promote them. We didn't have anything to do with bringing them to the city. We promote it. I went Saturday night, great atmosphere. And I think they said it was 3,600 people that came to the game. So it was a great atmosphere. Any sports in our community are wonderful. They bring the folks in. They're bringing the folks in from Kansas City area. I know that's what Kellen was telling me. And I think that with hockey, there is a love for hockey in our community, and it's great to see it again for sure. And we will promote it. And actually, Kellen and I were talking about there are some collegiate hockey clubs that are out there, so we could be a great neutral site for some of those collegiate experiences.
I caught a track meet yesterday over at Washburn University, indoor meet. There were thousands of athletes there.
Yep.
It was unbelievable.
The count, now again, this is athlete entry count, was over 3,000, but you know, there are athletes that are doing multiple sports, so it's not necessarily 3,000, but they had over 3,000 entry at the thing. It was huge.
it's wild.
I mean, it's a great testament to when you do your homework, you build facilities that you know will work, and then you promote them right and put the right things in there. It just goes gangbusters. So yeah, every motor coach you saw in the Topeka area was probably the team coming in to run. So it was great. It was great seeing motor coaches in the community, seeing hockey in the community. And then again, I was out at the Casey's getting gas and saw the pickleball thing. So there was sports were going on like crazy, absolutely, yesterday.
Yeah, I was amazed at all the food vendors that were hustling food over to that facility Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah.
No, it was Saturday. You know, these kids were ordering pizzas like crazy.
It's definitely an economic driver for sure.
All right.
So Mike, we talked about, or you talked about, the possibility of building new facilities, but we have a lot of facilities that we already have, and I wonder sometimes, are there facilities and places that we have already that are underutilized that maybe we need to put a bigger emphasis on? Can you identify if there are anything like that? I know Crossover, we're making some investments there, maybe make that a little more appealing, but without starting a brand new facility, you know, are there things that we really could do from our end of things?
I think that with sports, there are some things that just happen. It's cyclical, right? I remember when I was young and in the area, my parents played softball, I played baseball, and we were gone 5 or 6 nights a week just playing. And at that time, my uncle played on competitive teams, and Topeka was the baseball capital of the United States, or softball capital of the United States, right? So we've got tons of softball fields around here. And Felker's probably a great example, right? We've got 4 fields up there, and we've got a tennis facility, and then a bunch of open ground. So I think that we really kind of, with Shawnee County Athletics, Parks and Rec, really take a good deep dive and look and say, what has worked? Yeah, we've got the great facilities. Let's just say Felker in general. We've got 4 fields there, but could those fields be configured in a different way? Could they be figured for, let's just say we want to do the T-ball national championships in Topeka, Kansas. Does that become the T-ball national championship area? Could it be a place that Heartland BMX could take the dirt from over here in their park currently at Crestview and move it over? I don't know that, but I think that there is something that there is a way that we should go about this, and this is kind of speaking to the 10-year kind of plan about reconfiguring some of our sports areas and saying, yes, we know that softball is still being played. Heck, we're hosting both a men's and women's USA Softball Championship this year. It's still being played, but it's not being played as much. And could those facilities be repurposed for something else? Doesn't need to mean we need to build something completely brand new, but maybe just a quick configuration. We've got rugby in this town, we've got bocce, we've got a little bit of everything that could be played on these vast expanses of softball and baseball. And I'm picking on softball and baseball right now, but I think there are other opportunities there for reconfiguring things.
Okay. So in the last few years, we've seen some events up on like Skyline Park, mountain bike racing, and then I know they had like that marathon thing where the guys run for 8 hours straight. Do things like that bring money into the community as well? Are they mostly local people, or I know that so that's something that doesn't cost us really anything at all to let somebody use those trails. Mm-hmm. And then I know that you guys had recently put that downhill track up by the governor's mansion. So, I mean, that type of thing, are those bringing dollars in as well?
Absolutely. So the day that we got all that snow, I had planned for, and I did release a trails blog about Topeka and what we have around here. So we've got tons of trails, some great trails. The Topeka Top City Trails Alliance and Rick and his crew are maintaining it at the Call Park. And that downhill course that you're mentioning is really the only one in Kansas, and it is amazing. One of the things that I found, we have a data platform where we can find that takes data points from your phone and basically says you were here at one point in time. We found that our trails get a ton of exposure. Thousands and thousands of people that are experiencing our trails. And a lot of them are not necessarily local. So the good thing about trails is you can you can drive down the interstate, get out of your car and experience one of our trails pretty quickly with zero barrier to entry other than getting out of your car. People are doing that. And we feel that there is something there. And especially on the downhill course, and really that call area, whole area is one of those things that we think if we position it right, that it could be a running trail, the downhill course. It could be an ultramarathon trail, a downhill trail. It could be the mountain bikes. If you got real crazy, if you want to put a bunch of snow on there, it could be a little snow ski place. Who knows? But trails are very important. You talk about on top of Skyline, that was a state organization. It is NICA. It's Cycling Association, National Cycling Association. We have a state affiliate here. They did it on Skyline and then again on Miniger Hill, both of those places, showcasing our downhill mountain biking, which you wouldn't think in Kansas that we have, but we do. So yes, trails are very important. We are going to continue to push those in 2025 and beyond.
That's great. You mentioned the quarter midget track. So I'll make a confession. I've lived in Topeka my whole life. I've never actually attended a race there. Is that something that maybe, I mean, I don't know, have you guys been there before to watch a race? Because it seems like something that's pretty cool. Mm-hmm. I don't know how many surrounding communities have an asset like that that's already built and paid for. Is that something where it could be better utilized. I mean, I don't know how many events they have there,
Sure.
or how many people come from out of town, or how many people from in town, like,
You know, Aaron, I will tell you that I was much in the same way as you. I have attended one race out there, and it's been a very long time ago. But I've been reaching out because I know it's an asset. I know they do things out there. And motorsports, while we've had our major track leave, motorsports is still alive, and there are still people that are out there. So I met with a representative who told me a tremendous story about that track. One, it's a great track. It's been around for quite some time, and it was just fine. You know, people were running and racing. It was a great time. And so then they started live streaming events, just putting up a simple camera and live streaming what's going on. And because of that, they found that they got a ton of viewership and a ton more people saying, oh my gosh, you got this cool track. We need to come out and race it. So they had people come out and race it. Now, again, this kid is in, or this dad, his kid's in the NASCAR portion, so the kind of the preeminent. And come to find out that because NASCAR owns the track at the Speedway, they were putting on this little quarter midget track race during their regular race it's in September. So during the NASCAR events, they're putting on this, they're bringing everybody in and putting this little track and doing it. And that, it was fine. But then those folks with NASCAR said, you've got this track in Topeka, that's amazing. We're going to put on a race just there. We're not going to do it during the NASCAR event. We're going to put a different race on in the different month. So the NASCAR race is going to be in September. We're going to have it in October here. So there'll be about 400 racers that will be in our community. Hardly any of them from Topeka, Kansas, or the Topeka area. These are kids that, and I'm not kidding, they are the PR agent and the agent. This kid was going down to Charlotte he was going February. 12 weeks, starting in February, he was going down to train every week with his pit crew, for his quarter midget. And that's down in Charlotte, and you know, and then he goes out and races. So this is one of those that I'm really excited about because I didn't know that we were at that level. And I think that speaks a lot to, there are so many uncovered and hidden gems basically with sports in our community that we may or may not even know about. So scratching the surface, getting in with folks and finding out is one of the big things I want to do in 25 as well, just getting in with the community. But that race is going to be amazing, and that facility is amazing. And one of the things that we talk about, some of the upgrades, and I forgot to mention it, was we are pushing the Kansas Tourism has some attraction development grants that are available to not only entity, you know, the Sports Commission could help with it, a push, but really Shawnee County could help try to get some of these grants as well. And what we're pushing for, I know that out there they need a, I don't know what they called it, but basically it tracks your rate, your who's number one, what lap they're on, blah, blah, blah. They don't have a functioning scoreboard, if you will. Or they have one that's just terrible. And it's going to be, I think they said $12,000 to maybe fix it, and I don't know what they said to really replace the darn thing. But we've pushed out the attraction development grants as an opportunity for them to go after and maybe get that in by October when this big race comes. So.
all right, cool. Any other questions?
No, I'm good.
All right,
Well, again, I appreciate the time. I'm open. I think everybody knows how to get a hold of me, but please, if you have any questions, I'm always available.
okay, appreciate you coming today. Very informative. I think it's great. This is, I mean, the first time in a long time that we've been organized from a sporting perspective in Shawnee County to really focus on this specifically for tourism purposes. And so excited to see what comes in the next few years. So appreciate your time.
Excellent. Thank you.
The next item today is public comment. I don't have anyone signed up, nor does it appear that there's anyone in the audience today. And then we have administrative communications. Is there anyone wanting to make administrative communications? Okay, we do not have a need for executive session either, so we are, or did you guys have anything you'd like to add?
No, I'm good.
Okay, and we're adjourned.